Hey, welcome to another episode of the film section.
Oh my God. Why isn't this working?
Yeah.
Oh wait, there's more. Um, we're gonna be talking about Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler movies.
Hold
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. What was the topic? Like the overall.
Well, it was it's more of just like, so I'm sure, you both of you remember just like that like really popular debate that would go around in like the late 90s, early 2000s of like who was like the funnier guy? Was it Jim Carrey or was it Adam Sandler? Like everyone, at least like a bunch of my friends and everyone would always like argue over like, you know, like Dumber or Dumb and Dumber or like Billy Madison. Um,
Well, well, that's the thing though too. Like you're talking about two guys that like one was one of the most popular guys to ever come out of SNL, and one was like arguably the most popular guy to ever come out of In Living Color. At the like they both basically started at the same time at the same
yeah.
place.
Oh yeah. And they both had two very different styles of comedy, which I think was really interesting because like yeah, these two ruled the 90s, like the mid 90s into the early 2000s, and then as you saw, later in Jim Carrey's career when he would do comedies, with the exception of like the new Sonic movies, when he would do stuff kind of like Mr. Popper's Penguins or the Yes Man or something like that, they weren't like nearly as popular. And then same thing with Adam Sandler, where like obviously he did like Jack and Jill and like You Don't Mess with the Zohan, where it's like those movies just got torn apart. Um,
Yeah.
but I think when you look at their earlier careers and you look at something like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore or like The Mask and Ace Ventura, it's like these guys did so much for comedy in the early 2000s and late 90s. And so I just thought it would be kind of fun um, for sort of each of us to I would like each of us to come to an actual decision of who we prefer, who we think is maybe a little bit funnier,
That,
and
that's the
what
that's the
movie.
debate though. Like that, who's funnier, not who's a better actor.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
who's funnier because we're not
Okay.
including like Eternal Sunshine, we're
Well,
not
well, here's the
including
thing.
Punch Drunk Love or anything like
Just
that. Like
just to get it out of the way, I'd say like undoubtedly, like don't get me wrong, like you said, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, uh,
Truman
that
Show is
movie,
not included because Truman
Truman
Show
Show, yeah, yeah.
is an
Like
amazing, like both of these
here's
guys
the
are
thing,
amazing
Jim
actors.
Jim
We got some
Carrey
pretty. Yeah,
is like Jim Carrey is a very very good actor, like, but I would say when it comes to dramatic roles that Adam Sandler is kind of like head and shoulders above him.
It's tough. I
Like I
mean, again,
just
yeah.
even
I
their
don't know about
dramatic
that,
roles.
dude.
Yeah, like even their dramatic roles are so much different from each other because
yeah.
Adam
the guy,
Sandler.
the guy literally transformed himself into Andy Kaufman,
Yeah,
and,
here's the
and
thing.
Adam Sandler.
He was
Adam
great in
Sandler
that.
is not. Adam Sandler is a good actor, but he's not. It's not above that.
Well, there's three Adam Sandler roles that I think could have easily been nominated for Oscars. And I'm not saying like Eternal Sunshine or The Truman Show or Man on the Moon couldn't have been, but I just think when it comes to like their best stuff, that Adam Sandler's like kind of got the edge on him. That's just my opinion, though. It's
What's
just like
the
when we're
what's
gonna talk about who's funnier. To like, that's
what's
just
I
opinion.
really
think
quick? What's the third movie? Because I'm thinking because I'm guessing
Right, I was
Uncut
gonna say
Gems.
right, Reign Over Me.
Rain. Oh, I
Oh
love
yeah,
Rain Over Me. I
Yeah,
just watched that a
yeah.
couple of weeks ago. Actually,
crazy
So
underrated movie in my
it's
opinion.
such an underrated movie.
so I
Yeah,
think
really good.
I I think completely opposite of these two guys, right? I think Adam Sandler is funnier,
Same.
and I think that he is that Jim Carrey's the better actor than Adam Sandler.
Yeah, those be fighting words where I come
Yeah,
from.
I take the two and I went
No, I mean I get it.
opposite.
Here's
Well,
here's the
no.
thing. Like I think both guys too have like they have such a big filmography that like you can dissect all day. Like because I genuinely think Jim Carrey is great in Truman Show, Man on the Moon, uh, Eternal Sunshine. It's like yeah, he's great, but it's just Adam Sandler. he just I don't know, like he just has like a better grasp on drama. If
I
that makes any sense.
I will say, actually, Chris, I'm in your camp where I think Adam Sandler's funnier. I've always gravitated a little bit more to the Adam Sandler movies. But I think, don't get me wrong, I love Adam Sandler's dramatic roles. Like I could watch Spanglish, Rain Over Me, Meyerowitz Stories, Uncle Gems, all those. But
I
there's
can't even
something.
like I can't even put down any of these movies. Like it's hard to pick. Like
They're
honestly,
great
as
movies.
better actor is very hard to pick.
Hmm.
Like
But it
Yeah.
is
because
just
there's
like when I
points.
think
Like,
of
I
It's
don't want to
totally
take away.
debatable.
I
Like,
don't want to take away from their movies being like their dramatic roles. Like thinking that
yeah.
somebody else is inferior is really hard to pick between the two as dramatic actors because
Hmm.
they're both very, very fucking good.
well,
Yeah.
it's very much a gun to your head debate because it's like, oh, well, I'm not gonna decide who's funnier. It's like
Yeah.
deciding which one of your kids you love more. You know what I mean? It's
Right, right.
but
Um,
oh no,
but yeah,
sorry.
I think that for me, I would my personal opinion is I think Adam Sandler, especially in the late '90s, early 2000s, I just think Adam Sandler was funnier, and I think that's my brand of humor a little bit more. Like Jim Carrey sometimes gets a little too animated and too zany. Like there's parts of Ace Ventura where I'm exhausted watching him. Like I like Ace Ventura as a whole. I don't like When
It's
Nature
a lot.
Calls. I know that a lot of people like Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. I do not like that movie at all.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't.
I would never debate that it's a good movie. I
Yeah,
think
I just
it
Oh
just
yeah,
caught
I
me at the
don't
right
I
time.
just don't like
pretty
it. I
bad.
don't think it's very funny. I think Jim Carrey is he's just too much. Like in my
He did
opinion,
it
I think Jim Carrey's funniest movie is Liar Liar.
after
Hold up, you mean
after he did
this liar?
Yeah, I think that's his
after,
funniest movie.
Oh,
after he did Ace Ventura 2, he would not do sequels.
Yeah, I remember that.
That made him not do. That's why there was like he wasn't involved in The Mask 2, like whatever. And I'm sure it
oh,
wasn't going to be Son of the Mask.
that movie, nothing could have
Sure, it
saved that
wasn't
movie
going to
with
be
Jim
Son
Carrey.
of the Mask.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. I guess that left a bad taste in his mouth until he did Dumb and Dumber 2,
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
Dumb
it's
and
that
Dumber.
I've
I
never
don't
seen
know,
it, but I heard it's terrible.
It
whatever
wasn't
the
good.
fuck. So I've never seen that movie.
You
So
gotta understand too, though, like Jim Carrey, like all his biggest hits all came out in the span of like 2 years. Like Dumb
yeah,
and Dumber,
Well,
The
he had
Mask.
his three biggest hits: The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber all came out in '94.
Yeah. But dude, even because I remember moving to Albany in '95, and the first movie we saw was like Batman Forever. And
Yeah,
like
'95.
I don't know if like you can debate whether that's a good movie, but it was like a huge movie at the time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
Batman Forever.
Yeah. I think it's all right, but
It's
uh, but
passable.
It's
but
like the
like
most safe in terms of those
yeah,
movies, I guess.
the point being though, like he was like huge at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the and I
Even
remember
him
the
in
first
Batman
time.
Forever kind of bugs me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
It
I
does.
think I think him and Tommy Lee Jones are just trying to both be the Joker, and it's like, And then not to mention when I heard that Robin
Oh,
Williams
okay.
was actually the front runner to be the Riddler, I would have way
I
preferred to see Robin Williams take on the Riddler than Jim Carrey.
I think that was more studio and Joel
Oh, it
Schumacher,
was.
but
Well, so
exactly what you said though. Like they're being like they're like reverting back to the Adam West TV
mhm,
show back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Jim Carrey's Riddler was really taking it back to the '60s Riddler.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not quite sure what Tommy Lee Jones was doing. So
he was being pissed off at Jim Carrey because apparently he hated him on set.
Well, he only took the role because of his grandson. Otherwise, he wasn't going to take the role. And then, yeah, he said to Jim Carrey, he was like, I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
It's like I hate you. It's
Yeah.
like
like,
I can
yo,
imagine that
you
too.
can't
Tommy
even
Lee Jones is bringing me in, being like, "I hate you." Like,
you don't even you don't even want to like punch the guy for saying that.
No.
Like you're just
it's
trying
more
to
like, yeah,
wrap
your
you're just trying
feelings
to
are
wrap
hurt.
your head around it as he says it to you. and you don't even want to fight him. Like it was, he put it so eloquently that like you just
You
like,
want to
nah,
go?
you know what? I wanted to punch this dude for a second, but you know what? Touche, buddy.
But
It's like you don't want to fight him. You just want to go into the next room and cry.
Yeah, yeah. You just want to walk away and have a moment to yourself. Yes, absolutely.
but so like but so when I think of those Jim Carrey movies, and then I think of around the same time when Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore were coming out, I still quote Billy Madison daily. Even today, I was saying like it's too damn hot for a penguin to be just walking around here. I and then I'm always like, that little boy's got to think. You got a pet, you got a responsibility. If your dog is lost for an hour, or if your dog is lost, you don't look for an hour, then call it quits. You get your ass out there and you find that fucking dog. I love Billy Madison so much. I love Happy Gilmore. I think Little Nicky is bad but funny. Big Daddy, I think, is one of the best Adam Sandler comedies ever made. I think it's one of the best comedies ever made.
Mark, you know what's funny about you mentioning Liar Liar and Little Nicky? Like when you told me what the subject was going to be, I kind of I was like, okay, I'll rewatch like a couple of their movies. And just earlier today, I was cleaning my bathroom while I had Little Nicky playing in my living room. I forgot, like, it's a very dumb movie, but come on, some parts are really fucking funny.
No, even in Little Nicky when he's just like, my radiator just broke, and Little Nicky's just like, you damn right it did.
Well, dude, there's a scene in it where he's talking to Patricia Arquette's character who he has a crush on, and his older brother possesses him and tries to like ruin it for him. And he's like, I'm scrubbing my bathtub, and I hear like, I always wanted to have sex with a gross pig. I just started like bursting out laughing while I'm fucking scrubbing my fucking bathtub.
I think
Unleash the God.
Like 8 Crazy Nights is one of my favorite holiday comedies.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah,
I
like that.
love 8 Crazy Nights so much.
I think it's definitely got a shitty reputation or like a shitty reception when it initially came out.
Probably because it's one of like if to my recollection, it's like one of the only like Hanukkah movies.
Yeah.
Like there are not a lot of Hanukkah movies, and the fact that 8 Crazy Nights is kind of the representative for those is probably not the best.
Not a lot of Jewish holiday comedies out there.
Whether you want to say it's good or not, like you can tell a lot of like effort and like heart went into it because there's some
animation
good
is beautiful.
numbers.
It's
one of the last of its kind though too, animation wise.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see animation like that anymore.
What else do the Jewish people like holiday specials are there? They're like
Full Core Miracle, which was a Disney Channel original movie. You guys can catch that.
Oh, get it.
Yeah.
Oh, South Park.
Star Wars holiday special. Because we all know Wookiees are Jewish, so
They had that Star Wars holiday special. No, nobody should watch that. Nobody.
Nobody.
I don't want that.
That deserves
Rugrats,
to be where it was buried.
I know Rugrats has
oh yeah.
Ooh, the meanie of Hanukkah.
Yeah, Rugrats has
where the grandpa's being bullied by another grandpa.
Yeah. So, not the best Jewish representation in film here.
It literally ends with the grandpa and the other guy like singing like bum. Like
all right, well we're not gonna do that anymore.
Oh, sorry. Next week's episode is gonna be like, we apologize for the comments of Corey.
Formal apology.
I'm half Jewish. I'm half Jewish. I'm
right. So we were talking about Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey. Yeah, I remember that conversation. That was a good one.
Jim who? Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think, Jim Carrey, again, I like Jim Carrey, but when I think of Jim Carrey, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, aside from Liar Liar, I'm trying to think of like what other big comedies he did.
What about Me, Myself, and Irene?
Yeah, that is true. I don't think that's his best. I do like it though, but
I mean, it's in the 2000s. I thought we were just looking for.
That's true. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, compared to Adam Sandler movies, I would say doesn't touch him.
his thing though, like right after all those movies, all those hit comedies, he came out with Cable Guy, and I think people were expecting like
Cable
another,
Guy. Forgot about that.
like,
Yeah,
but people were
that's a
expecting
great
like
movie.
another
I love the
comedy,
Cable
and,
Guy.
and they just
love
got like a
that
really good dark like kind of comedy instead.
I actually love that movie.
I
Yeah,
love the Cable Guy. I'd say that he's more scary than he is funny in that movie.
Yeah, for
Yeah, but
sure.
that's what I'm
He's
saying though.
terrifying.
That's what I'm saying though. Like people
People
went
were
in, like
expecting
it didn't get a good reception when it initially
Oh no,
came
it
out. Like
bombed.
it has a cult following now.
Yeah.
People were expecting fucking Goofy Man.
Mhm.
Yeah, people
didn't
were
get
they
that.
even marketed it, dude. They marketed it like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they showed all the comedy parts in the
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then they get it
absolutely.
like, man, this is really dark, and I'm not laughing. I brought my kid here, so you know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though. Like Jim Carrey really was like a one man show though in all of these like initial movies. I mean, aside from Dumb and Dumber, obviously with like Jeff Daniels,
Yeah.
he was like really good in that too.
I
But
think
like if you look at it, like dude, Ace Ventura would be a terrible movie if Jim Carrey wasn't in it and like you
Oh
know
yeah.
giving his performance.
Yeah,
I
that movie was absolutely made, and they called his ass. They were like,
Oh
"Yo,
yeah.
you want to be the star of a movie? We wrote it for you."
I would
Like,
say
It's
same
almost
thing
like
with Dumb and Dumber. Like
yeah,
if
yeah.
without Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, that movie is dog shit. Like the writing in
Yeah.
that movie, I mean, it's a Farley Brothers
Yeah.
movie, so it's like the the writing is bad.
Hey,
Like
they made Kingpin, all right.
Well, that's the thing too. Like you brought up Liar Liar, and dude, Liar Liar would be like a kids movie if it. I mean, you could kind of consider it like a family movie. There's nothing in it like too vulgar,
Jerry,
but at the
enjoy my wife.
Harry enjoy. There's like a scene in it where he's like, "Hey, it's your birthday," and that's a 1 and a 2 and a 3. You know, like he's like giving him like fake birthday
You
punches.
struck the
He's like,
child.
he struck the child. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know if I would really say that's a family movie because there is that scene where he
Well,
completely sexually harasses that girl in the elevator.
yes, okay, yes, but it's a very lighthearted like movie though. You know what I mean? Like if it didn't have the vulgar Jim Carrey jokes in it, like the plot wise, a dad
Oh
trying
yeah, the
to
plot wise is fine.
Plot wise, it's
like,
very very family friendly. Like,
Yeah.
sure,
well,
for sure.
let me put it this way: if they had Michael J. Fox playing fucking Jim Carrey's character in that instead, like we'd be like liar liar what? Like
Fucking awesome,
I
dude.
think I would actually
he
love.
would not be as
I would
over the
love
top
to
all
see-
over
funny
the
as
place,
he
dude.
would not
That would
be
be
as over
fucking
the top funny as Jim Carrey. No, he would not.
I would love to see Michael J. Fox just freak out saying the pen is blue over and over. I think that would be
Dude, I
amazing.
saw.
It is
Listen,
blue.
man. I saw Michael J. Fox on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He fucking destroyed, dude. He was hilarious.
Yeah, but that movie, it's two different types of comedy.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I get what you're
he-
saying. Like,
yeah,
I
he's
think,
like,
um,
sorry.
like Liar Liar has good writing that Jim Carrey excels in, which is why I think it's a better movie. But then, The Mask. I think The Mask is such a cool movie. I mean, The Mask is definitely one of my favorite comedies growing up. It's probably still one of my favorite comedies. I love that movie. I love the whole tone of it, and that's a movie that doesn't work without Jim Carrey, but it's also written
Clearly,
very
Yeah, that was good.
clearly,
well.
it does
Definitely
not
one
work
of
without
Jim
Jim
Carrey's
Carrey.
kind.
I really sad because like I wanted there to be more of those.
Yeah. But I think The Mask also works because you get sort of almost like Truman Show Jim Carrey when he's Stanley Imkus, and then you get full Jim Carrey when he's The Mask, which I think is kind of cool. Like
That is pretty cool.
kind of shows his acting range. Because I remember even as a kid, I was like, "Is this the same guy? Like, is the guy in the mask and the guy without the mask, like, are they the same actor?" Because growing up, I was like, "This is good enough acting that I really believed it was two different people."
Right.
Well, like
yeah.
the effects for the time were like next
Oh,
level too.
The
Like,
effects they
like
still hold up too, for the
A
most
little
part.
bit,
The
yeah, a
effects are
little
still
bit.
good.
I watched it not that long ago too.
yeah, it's like a real life Acme cartoon come to life.
Yeah,
I
which
mean,
I think
I've
is
never
why
read
it
the
works so well.
like I've
I
never
love
read the comic, but I heard the comic books like really dark in
Oh, the
comparison.
comic is so dark. Stanley Imkus is actually a piece of shit in the comic books.
Yeah, I remember reading the comic like after I saw that movie, and I was like, "Holy,
Yeah, this is not the
this
same
is
thing.
not the movie I watched."
No. But then, so again, kind of going back to Adam Sandler now, you have Adam Sandler's very sarcastic, neurotic, explosive humor versus Jim Carrey's very like obviously animated. Like Jim Carrey is almost like a live action cartoon a lot of times. So I think it's sort of like which one can you stand for 90 minutes? And it's now granted sometimes Adam Sandler's voices can get a little grating. I will fully admit, like again, Jack and Jill, turn that
Jack
shit
and,
off.
let's just not mention Jack and Jill. That's that grown ups movies.
I like the
I
first
like those movies.
I like the first Grown Ups movie.
The first one's pretty good.
Yeah, Click.
The second one is like,
Click,
second
well,
one's
Click.
just like,
I liked Click, but
Click
like
is a
it's
good one.
just here. Let me just say why I think Adam Sandler is a genius businessman, in terms of his like career and everything. He knows that like okay, like I can make like a subpar movie, but I can also get a vacation out of it, have enough money for my family for the next like 5-10 years. But I can also make like this great dramatic movie whenever I want to. That's kind of like
are you saying that he's Bruce Willis? That he's just taking direct to DVD jobs?
yes, and that he has dementia. Yeah. No, it's
Wow.
Christ.
no, I'm just
Jesus
kidding.
Christ,
Jesus
Corey.
Christ.
Is everything
Jesus.
okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's 2 in a row.
What's it go?
No, I agree though. Like it's wait,
No,
are
I
we talking
think
about Bruce Willis now? Should I
no,
do I need
no,
to
I
initiate
think
No, we're
an
done. We're
apology?
done
I
with Bruce
think
Are we
Adam
are
Willis.
we are
We're
we
Sandler.
woke?
absolutely done with Bruce Willis.
We're
I
a
think
woke we're a woke
Adam Sandler found a niche.
we're a woke podcast now.
We are not, but Adam Sandler found
Corey
a
dead.
Corey would like to apologize to Bruce Willis and all the Jewish people, even though he is Jewish. Like, the fuck? But yeah. Anyways, what were you saying?
Adam Sandler. Jesus Christ. What the fuck was I saying? I don't even know anymore.
Well, Corey had talked about Adam Sandler being someone that like is a smart person when he
Oh,
makes like
so-
he makes
Like
some
businessman.
smart
I just think he
movies.
has a great model as like a
well,
actor
Yeah,
in general.
yeah,
I
for sure.
think Adam Sandler found a niche in comedy that no one else kind of really had. Like he kind of made his own lane where he was sort of the neurotic man child, right? And
Yep.
I think that was a really good place for him to be in. And then I think when he started doing movies kind of like Anger Management or Big Daddy, it was sort of like you saw him kind of go from the neurotic man child to like just like the neurotic man, which was still really funny.
Yeah.
And then I think it's as he got a little bit further, and then you would see sort of like again like Jack and Jill or like bedtime stories or stuff like that, where it's like he's back to just being the man child, where I think he's starting to lose people. But again, it's a formula that works. I don't think he ever really phones it in. I think he's still,
They like Pixels.
Pixels. Yeah, like I think he's.
I thought that was actually okay.
Yeah, I
That
think
was pretty
he's just
fun.
having fun. Like I think that's
Yeah,
the
I think
big
so
thing, is that
too.
on his sets, you can see that they're all having fun. You can see that it's a good environment to be in.
Yeah,
So it's like that to me is kind of what makes the movies enjoyable. Like when I watched Hubie Halloween on Netflix, objectively a terrible movie. But while I'm watching it, it's like you can see that all of these people are having fun while filming this.
yeah.
That movie made me laugh out loud a couple
Yeah,
times, and if I'd say that is a good movie to watch around Halloween, just
Oh,
based
it
on how
is.
beautifully it looks like it was shot on the set of Trick or Treat.
Yeah, it's
Captures
super
the
fun.
season, right? If it
Yeah.
captures the season, dude, it doesn't
Mhm.
like. I think he knows. Like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking dumbass movie, but let's
He
get
knows how to.
something right. Let's get something right to keep people engaged, and I think it captures the fucking season beautifully. So,
Yeah, and then
you
it's
be
like
Halloween, baby.
yeah, and so he'll
It's
do
like Mark
Hubie
said.
Halloween.
Oh
And
no, I
then
was just gonna say, like you said, like he it's like okay, if he makes this like bad movie, like he might lose some people. He knows how to get his audience back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because like he'll do Hubie Halloween, and then the next year he comes out with the movie Hustle, which I don't know if you guys saw. Hustle was a great fucking
I saw
Netflix
that.
movie.
It was great.
I heard it's
Yeah, it was a
great.
great movie.
And so I think Adam Sandler, especially in his comedies, I think there's something a little bit more almost just inherently likable about him, and I think it's because he always sort of plays this underdog, where Jim Carrey doesn't always play the underdog. Like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, he's like crazy smart, and he's like a savant at this.
Yeah.
But like he's also kind of a jackass, and he's like really
Yeah, nobody respects him at all.
yeah. So it's and it's like again, how much of that can wear thin because he doesn't have an arc in that movie, not really.
Right.
It's like almost it's almost like he got injected into that movie from like another movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That
the
movie
movie's
was
basically just about a dolphin heist. Or
yeah.
That movie is called Jim Carrey Comedian, not
Yeah.
Ace Ventura Pet Detective. That is a comedy showcase for fucking Jim Carrey. That's what that movie was.
Yeah.
Yes, that movie will never get a compliment on anything other but him.
No, and then I think like even like Dumb and Dumber, it's like
I quote the fuck out of that movie though. I don't give a shit.
dude.
like I like Dumb and Dumber, but I think that if it weren't for Jeff Daniels, if it were just Jim Carrey and it was just like dumb, like it would be I wouldn't be able to watch it.
It was just called Dumb.
Yeah, it was
There's
just called
no
dumb.
Dumber didn't exist. Like Jim Carrey is dumb.
Instead of Jeff Daniels, it's Dennis Leary, and it's just like a fucking hard movie to watch.
Like, what if it's fucking Jim Carrey, Dennis Leary, but Dennis Leary is acting like Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man? Like,
the Rain Man approach didn't work.
But I don't know. I think it's I think it's weird. And then when I see like I think Jim Carrey's last, from my recollection, I think his last really solid comedy from the early to mid 2000s was Bruce Almighty.
Okay, I like that.
And even then, it's sort of like it's because
that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and he goes through an arc in that movie. There's so many Jim Carrey movies where it doesn't feel like his character has any sort of an arc. It's literally just a vessel for him to be funny. Which is why like Liar Liar and Bruce Almighty, it's like, all right, you actually have like growth. Your character is going through something and funny things are happening along the way. It's not just like how funny can Jim Carrey be in this moment? What kind of faces can he make? It's like no, like because of the circumstance, you can be funny in this, which I think is what works for me more about Adam Sandler movies, is that it's like because of the circumstances, your character can be funny. It's not your character is just funny because of that's just it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the last movie where we got like Jim Carrey at like going at like 100 miles per hour. It felt like. You know what I mean? It's the last one where I don't think it's like a bad movie like the way like Ace Ventura would have been, but like it's the last movie that it's like it kind of lives or dies on his shoulders, you know what I mean? And his like kind of delivery and his,
yeah. Although I will say that is a movie that I love Jim Carrey, and it's tough for me to see anyone else in the role, but someone else probably could have taken the role and it still would have been a good movie. It had a great cast with, an early Steve Carell, Morgan Freeman, Jennifer Aniston. Like, the movie was a good enough movie that Jim Carrey, is the one that sold tickets, and he was super likable and funny. But, I definitely could have seen probably like some other kind of funny guy at the time taking that role. He would have
one
been
of the only big movies too that I could think of that takes place in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean like Steve Carell and Evan Almighty. That was a big hit.
I didn't
I think I watched
Evan
15
Almighty,
minutes of
but
that.
it was a little,
it was that didn't.
Yeah, that one was more for kids, where Bruce Almighty was definitely like a family movie.
Yeah.
Evan Almighty was very much a kids movie.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's like just like Liar Liar, like I said, was more of a family movie. Same thing with Evan Almighty, Jesus Christ, Bruce Almighty. Like I don't know, like yeah, there's some raunchy humor in there. Like
Back to
Jim
you,
Carrey though.
fuckers.
Jim Carrey does a great job. Yeah, Jim Carrey does like a great job though of walking that line though of
Oh
never
yeah,
going too vulgar. You
yeah.
know, like it's still like good enough to, like if I like had like a 10-year-old or whatever, I'd still like bring him to go see it.
Price check
Uh,
on Vegiclean. Someone's got a little extra
a
cheese
lot
on
of
the taco.
Vegiclean. Price check on Vegiclean.
Me, myself, and I. Yeah. Um,
I forgot,
I
dude.
will
That
say,
movie's
in terms of voice acting, I mean, I got to give it to Adam Sandler because of Eight Crazy Nights. Like he voiced like 8 people in that movie.
yeah, he did a lot of
Uh,
voices.
it's a technical foul. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I mean, Jim Carrey was a pretty good. Jim Carrey.
Sorry.
I mean, I like Horton Hears the Who. I think that's an underrated Dr. Seuss animated movie. I think that's the second Steve Carell and Jim Carrey collaboration after Bruce
Yeah.
Almighty. But I think Jim Carrey and Horton Hears the Who just sounds like Jim Carrey, like Adam Sandler in Eight Crazy Nights. Whitey and his sister, I can't remember what his sister's name was. Both are voiced by Adam Sandler.
Yep.
The deers are voiced by Adam Sandler.
Well, don't forget Adam Sandler had like comedy albums like before.
Oh
this,
yeah, a
like,
couple of them.
they're all gonna
All
laugh.
kinds of races on there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yo, you know what my favorite Adam Sandler character is? Fucking Opera Man from Saturday Night Live.
Good. Well, I think that's the
I
other
like
thing
Opera
too, is that Adam Sandler is like extremely talented. Like the Hanukkah songs, the Thanksgiving song, like
Yeah,
He's a good singer too. I think.
yeah, he's really good. He made like a tribute song for his dad that's actually like really funny, but also like extremely beautiful and heartwarming at the same time.
Yeah, heartfelt. Yeah.
And then he can also come around and make a song all about shaving his bush. It's great.
or beating off at a medium pace.
Where I think Jim Carrey is a little. I think Jim Carrey's comedy is a little one note. I think Adam Sandler, for the most part, is playing the same kind of comedy.
I think, as you said earlier, Adam Sandler grew as a comedian. Like, played neurotic man-child. Then he was like adult neurotic.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jim Carrey, every like comedy they bring him to that's like straight comedy basically is one note.
Yeah,
you're right.
I don't know, like when it comes to Adam Sandler though, like you want to talk because yes, Jim Carrey definitely did have a type when he first started out in movies, but like Adam Sandler, like when you look at like Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, even like something like Mr. Deeds, he's like, yeah, I'm a funny guy, but I'll punch you in the teeth if I have to, like that kind of like and it worked for him, like
I love that.
Yes, I liked it too. Like it definitely it made him stand out, and like he was good at it. Like he was still really, really funny. Like in like even in like a few stinkers.
But then but you also look at something like The Longest Yard, where he's really funny, but he's just very sarcastic. Like he's not.
I like that better than the original.
Love that movie.
Yeah, The Longest Yard. He's almost like the straight man in that movie, but he's so fucking funny.
That movie fucking rules.
All right. I'd like to read my written apology to Bruce Willis. Sorry. Mr. Willis, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I think, again, as I was saying, like with like The Longest Yard, he's playing a totally different type of character, yet it's still a comedy. He's still really funny.
It's a fun plot too. It's a fun football movie.
Oh, it's such a fun football movie.
The original's pretty good too.
Yeah, the original's good. You look at something like The Water Boy, totally different football.
Oh, forgot all about
that. Yeah.
Bobby Boucher.
I like my football movies with Keanu Reeves. I like The Replacements.
Replacements is great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, dude. No, actually, I was gonna say we should do an episode on The Replacements, but what do you call it though?
Why not?
Why not?
You have seen? Oh, okay, like that's The Replacements is one of those movies. Like I never usually bring it up because I'm not sure if anybody else has ever really seen it.
Next week we're gonna do The Replacements.
Oh shit, hell yeah, Shane
Yeah, yeah.
Falco.
Fuck yeah, I already watched that. Shane Fel, you're not even a has been. You're a never was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like uh, I don't know, like I just love like everything about like those old Adam Sandler movies. But like think a really cool thing about his movies is that all the additional cast in it, like all like the kind of reoccurring actors, they're all like they all stand out too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're so funny. And I think that's another probably notch for Adam Sandler is that
Hey, Soph.
you know is yeah is that Adam Sandler's side characters are usually either really funny or just add to the scene. Jim Carrey kind of will steal the scene most of the time, which I mean isn't a
Yeah.
bad thing, but it's like, man, like let someone else be funny.
Yeah.
What'd he say? Galaxy homos naked. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think Adam Sandler's initial formula was so good that it had people trying to rip it off, like Rob Schneider. Like, I'm not saying Rob Schneider could never be funny, but like,
Rob Schneider kind of tried to take his "you can do it" character and incorporate it into everything he does. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
he took that ball and tried to run with it.
I mean,
yeah,
really, if it wasn't for Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider wouldn't have much of a career.
A
that
lot of
is
people when
very
it Nick Swarsden, like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, just look at Happy Madison as a production company, like
Grandma's Boy. That's
Grandma's
it.
Boy,
well,
Master of Disguise.
Grandma's
Whoa,
Boy was
wait.
like,
Are you
well,
not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
well, Grandma's Boy was the best example of like the people who would work with Adam Sandler, like making their own thing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
You know what I mean?
it's like every side character in his movie got to have their own movie. Like,
Yeah,
Um,
you can't be talking like that
individual.
when the lion gets here.
Yeah, Doctor Zhivago.
I love the drug dealer character. Um,
That guy's the best.
he's so good. But I think another very underrated Adam Sandler comedy performance or performance in a comedy movie is fucking Airheads.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
all right,
Thank
yes,
you.
I love that movie.
Pip.
Such a good
He
fucking
doesn't hit Pip. He doesn't wear a helmet, does he?
no, and again, it's like, I mean, think of Airheads to Billy Madison to Big Daddy to Eight Crazy Nights to The Longest Yard. Like those are five very different roles, all comedy. And then
Yeah,
look at like
that's true.
Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar, Bruce Almighty, Mr. Popper's Penguins. They're all kind of the same.
Some of these, he has like a handful I've never like Mr. Popper's Penguins.
It's trash. Don't
Like
watch
there's
it.
like a few of those
Dude,
like I've never seen
my
them
kid,
just because I've never,
It's
if
bad.
everyone
my
says
kids
like what you just
used
said,
to,
like oh, it's kind of trash.
my kids
But
used to not be able to say the title of that movie without hysterically laughing, and I don't know why. They were like super little. I'd be
I
like,
mean,
hey,
it's a funny title.
we'd go to Blockbuster, and I just point, I'd be like, hey, what's that movie? And my son would be like, Mr. Poppers. I have no idea why to this day why it was so funny,
your,
but
your
like,
kids turned into
every
King
time
Shark.
It's funny.
he burst out laughing at the title. We never watched that movie.
Um, but I don't think Yes Man is kind of like a toned down liar liar.
I
Like his
don't like that
character.
Like
movie at
it's like
all.
if you threw up
Yes Man is so boring to me.
I'm not a
if
fan of
you
it.
were scorching hot in the beginning of his career, Yes Man is like if you threw like a thing of ice water on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
He's still trying, but he's
and
not
him
quite.
and Zoe Deschanel have like zero chemistry together.
I don't really like her that. I mean, she's like fine, but she's very much like if you told me she was like a half cyborg or something, then I would totally be like, all right, I get it. Like,
I like her
Yeah.
in the new guy.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I like-
yeah. It's like
like
on
that.
that show, like she's
I think
good,
it was
but in a
No,
lot
no,
of
no,
things,
no, no,
she's
no, no.
like
Not new girl. The
or
new guy.
what new.
oh
Wait, the new guy?
oh
Oh, the one with the skinny dude
with
Yeah.
with the
DJ
big ears.
Squalls.
DJ Qualls,
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ Qualls. I called him DJ Squalls.
Yeah, dude.
DJ
I
Squalls.
fucking love the new guy. That's one of my
Oh,
favorite
dude,
Who's
I
the
just
big
remember how random
bad?
that movie was because me and my friends saw that in the theaters
I fucking
when
love
we
that
were like
movie so much.
14. But dude, like it's randomly got like Henry Rollins and
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
and like all like in like Vanilla Ice like randomly
Yep.
in it. Like,
Yep.
it was a pretty good movie.
I love
That's
that.
good. I
movie.
like that movie
Wait,
too.
she
That's a
was
decent.
she
She's
the girl in the
the
band?
yeah, she's the girl.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yo,
yeah.
guys, do you know what happened last week?
What's that?
I just was like had some time and to wait, and there was a Salvation Army where right around where I was, so I went in there and I bought some DVDs. And because we were talking about it, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, I found a copy of Slackers that I bought.
What?
Yeah, dude, and I bought
Oh
Sorority
shit!
Boys. Who remembers that one?
Hell yeah, dude!
Yeah,
Michael Rosenbaum.
yes. And
Yeah.
I found season 1 of Oz. I got that shit for $3.
Damn.
What three random things to
Very.
Yeah, dude, whatever.
That's cool,
That's
though,
what you
man.
go.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
no, I mean that in the
go
good. I
for,
mean that
bro. You go for that random shit.
Hell yeah.
a fever dream right there.
Slackers. That's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah. All right. Now I'm talking about DVDs. You want to wrap it? You want to put a
Um,
bow on it?
yeah. So here, let's go. So Corey, are you Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey?
Comedy wise, I'm gonna have to go with Jim Carrey just because he made me laugh more, and that's a bullet to my head, like, or a gun to my head, like, kind of
And
like you
then
have to say which one you think is funnier because I do think they're equally as funny. But if I had to choose one,
all right,
just based on my childhood alone, that's why he gets that extra point.
Okay.
Based on like where he hit me in life.
all right.
Okay.
So then you have to pick. You have to pick 3 Jim Carrey comedies.
Well, does it have to be one of the ones we already mentioned?
It
Or
just a
be.
Jim Carrey comedy. Just
we
your
already
3
mentioned
top.
we already mentioned the obvious ones.
Right.
You know, like the ones that he's known for. Um, I'll mention a few that he's like kind of stands out in, not necessarily good movies, but Kick-Ass 2, which is a sequel to, you know, Kick-Ass, but it's
Oh
not
yeah.
necessarily, it's not very good, but Jim Carrey is actually really funny in it. He's
Even
not
though
in
he
it for like
refused to
that
promote
long.
it.
Wait, what?
He refused
Oh
to
yeah, he
promote it.
refused.
Yeah,
Well, I think that was more him like trying to like, you
that was his
know,
political
seem
stance.
yeah, like trying or he's trying to get ahead. Seemed like he was trying to get ahead of something. He's like, oh, this movie's gonna be offensive. I gotta, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucked. Let's see, Dark Runes. I know we mentioned You, Me, and Irene, but that movie really does stand out as like a really funny, like, you know, it's a silly movie and a kind of an offensive premise to
Yeah.
have, especially
It's pretty
nowadays.
wild.
But I don't. But I mean, that's
Fucking
kind of like the
hilarious.
Fairley Brothers thing is taking something very serious and just kind of having fun with it. I
Mhm.
Yeah.
get being offended by that. I definitely do. But at the same time, though, it's comedy. It's not supposed to be like, you know, if everything was safe, then it'd be dull as fuck.
Right.
It'd be, you know, it'd be Ace Ventura without Jim Carrey, basically.
Kind
Uh,
of. Yeah. Right.
I think because I made like a little list here. Maybe. Jesus Christ! Like I made like little notes, but like it, this looks like a manifesto a serial killer would send to the FBI. What do you call it? I'm
Read the
gonna go with
script.
the. I'll say this. Not like one of my favorite movies, but The Grinch. I thought he was good.
Grinch
In
is
it.
amazing. I love the Grinch. That's
Yeah,
always
he
a
fucking,
Christmas
yeah,
must watch.
he killed that shit. That shit is.
Yeah,
I like that one. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
I'd say whether you like it or not, he is very good in it. Like
Yeah.
he stands out.
Oh, he is the
Oh
Grinch.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's all
when I
about
think
him.
of the Grinch now. I think of Jim
Yeah,
Carrey's the Grinch more than I think of the original like Dr. Seuss artwork. Honestly.
Yeah, he's on fire in that movie, and he's
Mhm.
like, you know, you can't take your eyes off him when he's like on the screen and shit. Like
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
I'm sure
Three
I'm
three
sure there's
great.
more.
No, those are 3 great choices. So Chris,
Yo.
you're are you still sticking with Adam Sandler?
Absolutely.
So what are I guess your 3 top comedies?
Well, it's definitely there's Airheads. Um. The Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. Those are my
Okay.
top 3 Adam Sandler comedies for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna stick obviously still with Adam Sandler. Billy Madison, I think, is probably my favorite Adam Sandler comedy. I think The Wedding Singer is an Adam Sandler movie that not enough people talk about. Wedding Singer is great. And then also 50 First Dates is a lot of fun also.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Adam Sandler, that was another thing. Adam Sandler did rom-coms. And he was
Yeah.
kind of good at them.
Objectively, they were pretty decent
They were
rom-coms
good.
too. Like, I
They
mean,
were
I
good.
didn't even like if you're like a teenage boy, you don't like give a shit about that genre, but you're watching those movies and you're like, all right, I like
They're
this.
funny. They're funny. And I think Adam Sandler has great chemistry with his female co-stars, where like him and
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore have amazing chemistry. Him and Jennifer Aniston have great chemistry. Him and Winona Ryder and Mr. Deeds have great chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Carrey had shit chemistry with
Yes.
Zoe Deschanel. Had bad chemistry with. I didn't really think him and Jennifer Aniston had the greatest chemistry, especially comparative to Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler. I don't think any of Jim Carrey's love interests in any movie, except for maybe Kate Winslet in like Eternal Sunshine, but that's not a comedy.
Like, yes, great chemistry in that, but also oddly enough, like as bad chemistry he has in like certain movies with actresses, he's probably the only person in history in a movie to ever have good chemistry with Courtney Love on a Man on the Moon.
Yeah, fair.
Like to an extent. I'm not saying
Fair.
she was like great or anything in that, but at least he was like, making
Yeah.
the effort in that.
For sure. And then also, yeah, I just think that for me, Adam Sandler, I like his movies more. I can watch more of his movies.
Yeah.
Not to say that Jim Carrey is bad, because I honestly I do love like The Mask and Bruce Almighty and Liar Liar. Like I love Jim Carrey movies, but I do find myself drawn a lot more to Jim Carrey's dramatic movies, like The Majestic, The Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine. Like I can watch those movies probably more frequently than I can watch his comedies, honestly.
Well, that's the thing though. Like he does do good dramatic work, but he's also had like some dramatic stinkers, like the number 23,
I
Dark.
like the number 23.
Oh God, dude.
Ugh, I
Unabashed.
can't believe you remember that. Like, stop. You're fucking hurting my head.
He did another one that was even worse called Dark Crimes. That
Oh God damn
Oh
it.
no, Dark Crimes is terrible.
we're gonna kill Chris with all these.
Stop.
Here's the thing though about Jim Carrey though, like he when it comes to like his comedy, he was very fun in both of those Sonic movies. I thought the
Oh,
first
hell yeah,
and the
dude.
second one.
Yeah, you killed him.
Like they're definitely like more aimed towards kids, obviously. But
Oh yeah.
oh God,
You dumb bastard.
yeah.
Put that back on the show.
the camera points
Piece of
back and Mark
shit.
just has in a Sharpie 23 written all over his face.
You piece of shit.
Nobody talks about like Jim Carrey that way.
Of course you fucking
I
own
know.
that fucking movie.
Yeah, and
Probably,
again, I know
he probably scribbled A24 on it.
that 23 says A24.
No, I didn't.
But here's the thing. I agree with everything you guys are saying though. About,
Adam
like,
Sandler has an A24 movie. Where's Jim Carrey's A24 filmed?
oh, what a
shit.
fucking
calling
dude.
him out.
The
Calling
world
him out,
would
Hollywood,
explode,
you
dude. Holy
piece of
shit.
shit. Let my man Jim Carrey in an A24 joint.
Here's the thing. I think
he's gonna be a Maxine. He's gonna be a
I think
porn
Jim
director.
Carrey's got another. He's got time for another like good possible like really great dramatic movie though.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he's still like both of these guys are naturals in front of the camera. Like from their first movie to. That's one thing you can never say what you will about their performance. They are never uncomfortable in front of the camera. Like they want to be there. They want to entertain. So
sure.
I think that's awesome. So
for sure, yeah. I mean, both these guys have brought laughs and tears to many people for a couple decades now. So, I mean, I just thought this would be kind of a fun little debate. Kind of going through sort of these guys' comedy careers, sort of making our decisions as to who we think is funnier. Next week, we're going to talk about The Replacements.
oh shit.
Keanu Reeves football comedy.
Heck yeah. Let's go.
One of my
And,
dad's favorite
Go,
movies.
boys. Let's go.
movie.
I,
I'm excited to rewatch it. I haven't watched it in a
Dude.
long time. So,
dude, for real. I'm like looking at the fucking Blu-ray on my
you know,
on
this is gonna be
myself.
fun.
I'm like, yes.
So yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We got tons of shit on this channel. So yeah, see you guys next
Yo,
week.
yeah. Decom debate.
Yeah, there's fucking there's just
We got stuff.
yeah, we got
Go
there's
watch
like
it.
60 plus videos of all different types of stuff on here.
Exactly. There's no excuse not to watch it.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
Do it.
See
Bye.
y'all next week.